All right, everybody, thank you. Those of you that still remain here, would you please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, please call the roll.
Councilman Giacobbe?
Here.
Councilwoman Nicholson?
Here.
Councilwoman Marcotte?
Here.
Councilman Marcocha?
Here.
Supervisor Colavita?
Here. Okay, we have our first opportunity to address the board on a specific agenda item. Anybody? All right, not on a specific item. Then we'll move forward to the approval of the minutes of the October 21st regularly scheduled town board meeting and the October 28th special town board meeting we had the meeting for the purposes of interviewing candidates for police officer. Are there any proposed amendments or modifications? None. No, they're being done. Someone care to move the move to have the minutes approved as submitted?
So moved.
All right, I'll second same. Please call the roll.
Councilman Giacobbe?
Aye.
Councilwoman Nicholson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Marcotte?
Aye.
Councilman Marcocha?
Aye.
Supervisor Colavita?
Aye. Next, we have reports of departments, boards, and commissions. We have the Law Department report. Mr. Rader?
Yes, good evening. First, I have a resolution authorizing the settlement of recreation fees for the property located at 10 Hewitt Avenue, Section 83, Block 1, Lots 1 and 2, Eastchester, New York, in the amounts of $35,000 for each lot, total being for this property $70,000 in recreation fees.
All right, just so you know, by way of background, the New York State law provides that when a person is subdividing property, they need to make a contribution of park space. It also provides that if the property that's being developed isn't suitable for a park installation, then in lieu of the park, they can contribute funds depending on the valuation used by the town or the city or the village. In this particular case, we choose to use 10% of the value of the lots that are being subdivided. So in this particular case, we will apply the funds, $70,000 funds, to park use in the area or at town large, at town-wide. So we always commit those funds to recreation for recreation purposes to be consistent with the law. Anyway, with that being said, I reviewed the appraisals. They all look good. The town attorney did an excellent job. So I make a motion to accept the recreation fee of $70,000 for the premises located at 10 Hewitt Ave.
So moved.
Second.
All right, please call the roll.
Councilman Giacobbe?
Aye.
Councilwoman Nicholson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Marcotte?
Aye.
Councilman Marcocha?
Aye.
Supervisor Colavita?
Aye.
Okay, next, a resolution authorizing the approval of an application for a special event permit submitted by the Albanian American Club of Westchester for the Albanian American Parade to be held on November 23rd, 2025.
Yeah, just so you know, the president of the organization contacted my office to amend this permit to commence the parade at John Albanese Plaza by Chow's to Lake Isle, as opposed to the library. So we would do, this permit would be for the distance from Chow's or John Albanese Plaza to Lake Isle. So I would make a motion to approve same and waive the permit fee and ask for a second, please.
Second.
All right, please call the roll.
Councilman Giacobbe?
Aye.
Councilwoman Nicholson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Marcotte?
Aye.
Councilman Marcocha?
Aye.
Supervisor Colavita?
Aye. Next on correspondence, we have a memorandum from the police chief regarding a Stop DWI contract, and this is a partnership with the Westchester County Stop DWI program with the town of Eastchester, and it's for the sum of $8,400 for basically enforcement and DWI examinations and patrols and all kinds of training for Eastchester police officers. So I'll make the motion to approve same and ask for a second, please.
Second.
All right, please call the roll.
Councilman Giacobbe?
Aye.
Councilwoman Nicholson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Marcotte?
Aye.
Councilman Marcocha?
Aye.
Supervisor Colavita?
Aye. Lastly, in correspondence, we have a memorandum from the supervisor regarding a public hearing for the 2026 Town of Eastchester budget, and I'm proposing that we have a public hearing for Tuesday, December 2nd, 2025 at 7:30 p.m. in this room. Someone care to make a motion on that?
So moved.
All right, someone care to second that?
Second.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
Councilman Giacobbe?
Aye.
Councilwoman Nicholson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Marcotte?
Aye.
Councilman Marcocha?
Aye.
Supervisor Colavita?
Aye. Next, we have no miscellaneous business, so we'll move to council member reports. Councilman Marcocha?
Thank you, Supervisor.
I just want to mention, we've been spending a lot of time on our budget, and I want to thank our controller, Dawn Donovan, all of the department heads, all of our employees for that matter, for looking out for the town, for trying to save where they can on certain expenses. And it's a long process, but we do, I think, a pretty good job going through it line by line and trying to figure out how to keep it as low as possible, but also provide the level of service that, our residents are accustomed to. So that process is continuing, and I just wanted to thank Dawn and everyone that's involved in that process. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Councilwoman Nicholson.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Good evening, everyone. I do not have a report this evening. Thank you.
All right, Councilwoman Marcotte.
Thank you, Supervisor. I just have two things, just sort of a notice to the residents in the village of Tuckahoe, the village of Bronxville. On November 22nd, from the hours of 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., the mobile shredder will be on hand. It'll be at the Bronxville School on Pondfield Road. And then again, on the 25th of November, the mobile shredder will be here in the town of Eastchester, also from 10 to 1, and that will be up at Lake Isle. Just some important notes if you plan on going there and bringing some paper to be shredded. You can bring up to 4 file-size boxes. Those are those banker boxes. They ask that you remove all large binder clips and covers, any papers from any businesses or commercial enterprises and things of that nature will not be accepted, and actually they're going to reject them and give them back to you. And they ask that you stay in your car. They'll come to you, they'll take your 4 boxes or 2 boxes, whatever you have, and they'll bring it to the shredder. So just a good service, and hopefully a lot of people avail themselves of it. And that concludes my report, Supervisor.
Thank you. Councilman Giacobbe.
Thank you, Supervisor. Just one quick kind of announcement on our library. So I was talking to a resident yesterday that was heading to a museum down the city. They had some visitors. If you go to our Eastchester Library website, we have a whole list there of different museums and nature centers, and also the Intrepid, where you can go on there with your library card and pull free passes from us. So there's well over 24 museums and nature study centers there, and that you can go there and get free passes. Just go on there, find something you want to go to, and apply for the pass. Some of them, like the Intrepids, pulled almost every day. It's pretty hard to get, but some are pretty easy to get. So just a quick reminder, take advantage of that service that we have. That's it. Yep.
That's it? Okay. Of my own report, I have handed to each of the board members the tentative 2026 budget. And would like to make a couple comments about the budget. The budget, when presented now, becomes tentative. Soon we'll have a preliminary and then a final. The town-wide portion of the budget will generate a 3.83% property tax rate increase. So, if you are a resident in the village of Bronxville, the average assessment is $19,800. You'll pay $33.31 more for the entire year. That's $2.78 per month. The average house in the village of Tuckahoe, with an average assessment of $7,200, will pay $12.11 for the entire year. That's $1.01 per month. Quite reasonable. Regarding the town outside, the 2026 town outside budget will generate 1.98% property tax rate increase, which amounts to approximately $57.96 per year for the average Eastchester home, or $4.83 per month, which is not bad, considering the budget is at $45,488,499. The budget is responsible. We're using a reasonable amount of fund balance. We are well prepared to deal with any unforeseen events, economic fluctuations, or emergency needs, and we have a very stable tax rate and continued service reliability. There are a couple of factors that we have to enunciate. The first is that the New York State Comptroller has a fiscal stress on an annual basis for each town in this state. We have been rated at a 0% fiscal stress level. We have 0% fiscal stress, which is extraordinary. We also have a reaffirmation of our AAA Moody's rating. We also have, as people know, the vast majority of our budget is personnel. 67% of our budget costs are personnel related. So we have reduced our full-time personnel by 26% since the year 2004. Also, the pension costs are up 9%. And I'm not sure how the pension cost goes up 9% with the market doing so well. What happens is the state sends us a bill every year for our retirement system contribution, and they manage our money. When they do well, the number comes down. When they don't manage it well, the number goes up. And it's a little disappointing that we're up 9%. It's actually, the number for this year is $4.3 million. When I first became supervisor, it was $105,000. That shows you the perspective of where we are. It's now $4.3 million. Also, I would mention, too, that for 14 years in a row, since the inception of the tax levy cap, we have never once gone over it. We have never exceeded the tax cap at all. This year, we're under it by almost $250,000. Also, the town outside budget has been at 1% increase over the last 5 years and 1.6 average over the last 10 years. So we've done a very good job keeping the town outside town tax number very much in check. And when you look at your tax bill over the course of the year, we represent about 12.5% of that bill, maybe 13% altogether. But you get a significant amount of services from the town of Eastchester. So we will have several budget hearings and workshops prior to the actual public hearing that's going to be had on December 2nd at 7:30 in this room. But we've protected our core services. We are going to continue to maintain a very responsible and conservative fiscal management style. And we have also made a very good effort to keep our staff strong, all our positions filled as best we can. And I think we're going to be doing quite a lot of work between now and December 2nd. But the tentative budget is in. That concludes my remarks on the budget. I do want to mention, though, that Tuesday the 11th is Veterans Day, and the town will be conducting a Veterans Day program at the Community Center at Lake Isle at 11 o'clock. And as you probably know, the 11th hour of the 11th day, 11th month, is when Veterans Day occurs. So, it'd be wonderful if some folks could join us. It's usually a very good program, and we have, breakfast served for everybody. So stop by if you like. And more importantly, if you see some veterans, make sure you thank them for their service. Make sure that you recognize what they've done to protect your freedom. And that concludes my report, and that brings us over to the second opportunity to address the board. Anyone care to address the board? Yeah, you had your hand up first.
Hello, everybody.
Hello?
Good evening.
David Levy, 220 Hillside Place, Eastchester, New York. First, it's the 11th day, the 11th month, at the 11th hour for Armistice Day.
Armistice Day, on the 11th year, right? 1911.
Okay. Thank you for letting me approach the dais. Joseph, Lou, the rest of the board. Anthony, you're the only one I really don't know. But hello, everybody. Okay, so...
Consider yourself fortunate. Yeah.
Right, probably.
Only kidding, of course.
I come from time to time back to Eastchester. I've been here for over 50 years. Yes, Tony, I don't want to blow smoke up your butt, but you've done a very good job. You're keeping the taxes at a very reasonable rate.
Thank you.
And I thank you for that. The school board, well, we talk later. All right, so I've come basically just to say hello, because I haven't been around a while. And I guess the meetings are real quick now. But
Well, a
that's
little quieter when you're not around. That's what it is.
well, listen, I'm a dissenter. All I do is ask questions.
That's it.
All right, congratulations on your reelection,
Thank you.
and I hope next year's election goes as well as this one. All right, that's all I can say.
Good luck,
I'm happy to be back in town for a
Good to
couple
see
of
you.
weeks, and thank you very much for the opportunity to speak. And it's mainly just to say hello. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you
Thank
very much.
you.
Hi.
Hi.
My name's Mary Amato on Lawrence Avenue, and I think you remember me from the last meeting.
Yes.
I was talking about, I thought actually today someone would address something about cameras. About the
Well, did the
cameras.
police chief reach out to you?
No,
Okay, because my office has your number. He was going to give you a call and just discuss what we had talked about.
Right, but I think other people are interested in the town when I ask them about it. They're interested. I think we should have something where everyone in the town understands and hears about what kind of cameras are around town.
All right, we'll think about that, probably. We do something for it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mary.
Tony, I forgot one quick thing.
You got 10 seconds, because there's a lot of people here. It'll take you 10 seconds to get over here.
Hey, give me back, because I'm getting old. But that's,
Yeah, you and me both.
I don't want to, I can't pronounce Anthony's name, last name, so I'm not going to say it. But you talked about, we used to have a gentleman down in Crestwood, Ernie Zaki. Ernie Zaki was the Tuckahoe historian. He was born and raised in Tuckahoe. But before he retired, he had never gone down to Manhattan. And I don't know if you're aware, but I would say a good 70 to 80% of the buildings built in Manhattan are out of Tuckahoe marble. And you go back far enough, the bottom half of the Washington Monument is built out of Tuckahoe marble. There's a lot of history coming out of this area into lower Manhattan and into the rest of the country, just for the Tuckahoe marble. You know, Sheila's going,
Bottom third, bottom third.
the worst thing she ever did was when she moved that 21-mile marker into the
Home
little
run.
frame on 22. Well, you know the marker.
I know, of course.
Because to me, on the side of the road, that was 21 miles from the customs house. But
I agree with you on that, but there were some people who didn't agree. Some people who actually thought it originally was situated in front of the Ward House. But I think the overall intention of moving that historical monument was to preserve it, and I think the supervisor would agree.
crumbling, yeah.
Yeah,
So-
it was too close
That
to
was
the
on the
road.
corner of my grandfather's lot on White Plains Road, in a wrong location.
Yeah.
right. But Anthony, if you ever get the chance, go down to the customs house. It's the last stop on the, I think at the A train or the E train before it goes over the river. But that's all, the customs house is all built out of Tuckahoe marble. A lot of good marble came out of this town. Some people say the biggest mistake was when they let the Italians in to cut the marble. But, you know, being a Jew, it doesn't matter.
Someone had to cut it, right? Thank you, Dave. Anyone else? Yes. Sure, just come to the mic. Give us your name. Thanks. You could just sit behind each other.
Hi. So I'm Lynn Hewitt, 32 Lawrence Avenue.
And I'm Gina Pearl, 34 Warren Avenue.
Christine Chu, 65 Park Avenue.
Amanda Chiampa, 125 Lincoln.
And we're just a piece of the group. We came to speak to you last May about the issues that we're having up and down Lincoln Avenue with parking being two-sided on Sundays only, specifically with the church. And we've been going to Councilman Nicholson's meetings since then.
Traffic and parking.
We haven't missed one talking about it. And at the last one, we were told that it's now been moved up. It's out of their hands, and a comprehensive plan is being worked on to fix it. Over the last 6 months, it's gotten worse. It's unsafe. There's road rage issues. Fire trucks can't fit through. It's cascading up and down. Now it's not just one service, it's two. So it's going till 3 p.m. on Sundays. We can't access our own homes safely. We've been told that tickets will be issued. Tickets aren't fixing it. There's not even signs still at the corners saying you can't park to the corner, so there's nowhere to go to pull off. So I understand if the information we were all given is correct, that it's now been moved up to you guys and the police. We'd like to know when and what the solutions are, because we really, as a community, can't wait any longer. I had somebody, I live on a little side street, come down at over 30 miles an hour flying, trying to get around the traffic, and start screaming at me when I asked him to slow down in a violent way. It's a safety issue. It's not just a quality of life, or we don't like waiting in traffic. Our fire truck can't access our homes on Sundays. So we would like our timeline and what the plan is.
Sure. So to answer your question, I'm glad you went to TPAC. TPAC makes a recommendation. I spoke with Lieutenant Graff. She is the traffic liaison, and she's right now just doing her calculations with regard to the elimination of those spaces on the north side of Lincoln, alongside the church, and anything that is westbound, further down Lincoln toward Tuckahoe, that direction. If anything is there, and we're talking about elimination of parking for every day, not just Sundays, every day, because it's very difficult there. You have to
Sunday's the only day it's allowed.
What's that?
It's only
Sunday's the
allowed
only
on
day it's allowed, but I'm saying-
So it's not allowed any other time of the week, which
Right.
is why we're only saying it's a problem Sunday.
And there won't be any introduction of any additional parking is the point. Also, I've spoken with Pastor Kirk, the new gentleman that's the new pastor there, and we're going to set up a meeting with him, and, he is okay with that. His statements were, listen, they're trying to be good neighbors, they're trying to work things out, and they'll do that. The other thing that I spoke to Lieutenant Graff about was, in addition to the recommendation for no parking on the north side of the street, was the installation of no parking from here to corner. Because what happens is people are just squeezing in and they're going up past the stop sign and backing up, and you can't have that. Because you can't have, somebody on a bike or some, little person walking across the way. They have to be visible. We also had briefly talked with, about the vacant lot that's there and the hedges, and is it blocking, sight lines and all of that. We'll deal with the Weinbergs if that's the case. The pastor also mentioned that the church is now paying the school district for parking in the middle school lot, which is good. And they have hired a crossing guard to get people back and forth, which I think is an excellent idea. I would have hoped that the school would have not charged them, but they did, and that's okay. But he's on board, he's very cooperative, and we're probably going to get together next week or so. We had, of course, we just got finished with an election here, so it was a little bit crazy. But that is the plan. And that's the beginning of the plan. What happens is when you adjust traffic, sometimes it's a ripple effect. And as people park elsewhere, other people get, have issues and stuff. But the key thing is that corridor that little hourglass right there cannot be blocked. Also, I've spoken with the superintendent of highways and told him that our guys can't park their garbage trucks or highway trucks alongside the church as well. In the mornings, everyone goes in for breakfast at Giovanni's Deli, which is great, but they're blocking traffic. It's a disaster, especially people racing over Lincoln, past White Plains Road, trying to get to the train on time. So that's got to come to an end also. So a directive has been given out to the highway guys not to park there anymore. So that's where we are right now. When Lieutenant Graff gets back to me, we'll put something on our agenda, and you guys can come at that time, probably the next meeting. If not that meeting, the meeting thereafter, and we'll have it all squared away, and you guys can come and support the action of the board, or make a recommendation to something additional, for that matter. But the time is present.
So does that mean that this could take another 2 months?
Well, I wouldn't say 2 months. Our next meeting is on the 2nd.
So could we say maybe by December 2nd to really
Very
try
likely.
to get this on?
Yeah.
Because
But-
we're terrified with Christmas pageants coming, all those practices. It's getting darker.
Dark early, yeah.
It's feeling less and less safe every week as the rage is building by people
Well,
around.
we're also looking to do something universally with them, because there was other issues there also. There's the use of the church facility for non-church related things. So we're trying to get like a global settlement, so to speak, with everything. But I would suspect the next meeting, at the worst comes to worst, the meeting thereafter, be 4 weeks. So, but we'll try to get something done before then, if possible.
Is there any way before that the no parking to corner signs could go up in the meantime? Because
nah,
that's a
'cause
legal statute by the state of New
we
York
could-
that there's no parking to corner, so we shouldn't have to pass anything
I have to
put those
check
up.
with, no, we do things via local law, and local law has to be introduced, and then a hearing about it. Every local law has to be done that way. I would just check with the police department if maybe there's an emergency situation that we can invoke. But, I don't know if this meets that criteria, but it's an urgent situation, but maybe not an emergency situation. But we'll deal with it. I'll speak to Lieutenant Graff and Police Chief Rodriguez and see if there's something we can do there. I also want to give a heads up to the church as well, so that, they know what's happening, so we're not, pulling the rug out from under them. we have to be fair and be reasonable with everybody. But it's moving forward.
Because Lieutenant Graff informed us many meetings ago that nobody should be parking to the corner, because if you took your New York State driver's test, you should know that's against the rules, so she could
30
ticket
feet.
now with no sign anyways, but people don't know. So if she's saying she can already ticket, why not help out both sides, the people that could get a ticket from her, and put up the sign?
Well, I think the signs are the important thing. I mean, they can issue tickets, but like you said, sometimes, person gets a $25 ticket, goes in the back seat, until it becomes a $200 ticket, then they come here crying. But we will do what we have to do at that location.
We're going to turn it over to people that live not on Lincoln, but have been affected, so as you're looking at where this can spread.
Hi, how you doing? Lee McMahon, 96 Stewart Avenue.
Molly. We live directly next door. Our lives have been
On Stewart.
On Stewart.
directly next door. I've been emailing recently because just this past Sunday, there was a car parked outside our home. He parked at 10:30 on our Ring cameras. The woman went into the church. The man was sitting in his car with children going back and forth to the church all day. We're like doing yard work, we maintain our home. And we take our kids to soccer, come back, the car's still there. Around 2:30, we see him out in the back of the car. He dumped the urine from his children all over the street. The woman comes out from the church and they leave. So that's the most egregious thing that's happened. But there's constant activity at the church. And we are wondering, I've emailed the town, I've asked Carlo, buildings, what are the zoning rules? Like the special use, no one's answering me. No one's giving me like a clear answer. There's constant activity at the church. I'm gonna just read something that we wrote up. The more concerning issue for us as homeowners is the nonstop activity occurring at the church. Their website posts their church-wide events, but there seem to be other meetings almost daily at the church, usually at night. Since this church originated in Yonkers and most of the parishioners are not local residents, there's constant activity in the evenings on our street. This includes traffic, parked cars, people idling in the cars for like an hour. This is not a safe environment for the children who live here to have people idling in their cars outside of their residences. While the most egregious disruption is visible to all on Sundays, it is incessant. There are already 15 to 20 church external-facing events listed on their website per month. This does not include almost daily internal-facing meetings, syncs. In addition to this, there are 3 separate ballet classes over 14 weeks on Fridays. We have people trawling streets all the time, double parking up and down the street looking for parking, backing up because they can't find parking. And it's a one-way street. It's dangerous. It's dangerous for kids that are walking in the neighborhood. It's dangerous for people backing out of their driveways because it doesn't seem like they seem to care at all about like the people that live there. That's how it feels. I'm not saying it's the truth, but that's how it feels. I have contacted the town on numerous occasions to have someone explain to me what the zoning laws are for the church, especially since discovering that a ballet company was using the space for dance classes. When this requires special use permit, aren't dance classes considered unrelated use because they don't have a religious purpose? This is concerning because it sets a precedence for other kinds of classes for the church to host, to bring other events. Like it could be, who knows? It's constant activity. And I don't know, is there a way to regulate like even hours? Like, I'm not saying like people can't practice their faith there, but it's constant activity. It's constant people coming in that don't live in our area in front of our homes almost on a daily basis. It's a resident, like what can you do to like help like regulate that?
Well, the courts have been extremely liberal with the regulation of churches, as
Right,
you're probably
the
aware.
RL right?
Yeah,
The-
RLUIPA, but that's more education-based.
Right.
But church-related activities are one thing. And, you know, we can't tell them you can't, you know, have a service or a prayer group or whatever, but non-church-related activities, like you said, need special permit use. And that we are about that. Carlo, I know, is investigating that, and he's checking it out and seeing what they're doing there. He has emails regarding advertisements for, you know,
taking money,
yeah,
yeah.
dance things and whatever, non-church related things.
The last
So
correspondence we got, though,
Gary
was-
Gibbs just told us that the church is in compliance.
it's
Supervisor, can I respond?
Of course.
Because I've been involved in this, has been going on for quite a while, and all due respect, we have responded to you. You came to my office. I've spoken to you on numerous occasions. Carlo speaks to you almost on a regular basis, either through email or phone calls, but we are on it. The supervisor, I filled him in last week as to your email. I met with Carlo on Monday about your email. We're in the process of investigating the last thing you told us. I also emailed the police department about what you said about the incident that happened on Sunday. I'm waiting to see if there was any reports generated. I don't know if you called the
We
police.
didn't call the police.
Oh,
Like, we didn't, like,
Should we say, we can't, we're afraid now to, or,
Well, I understand that, but we are, so to let you know, we are on this. The supervisor discussed it with Carlo, we discussed it with the police department. As he said, legally, we cannot restrict any religious use, but if there is a commercial use, which we're in the process of investigating, that is not permissible, and if that is, you know, founded, then that will have to be ceased immediately by them, or they'll receive a summons. But the bottom line is, Carlo and I spoke, I think, on Monday, and I told him that I was going to meet with the police department to see if there was any additional stuff that was reported, but I guess you told me there wasn't, because I wanted to see if the incident you said about Sunday, because you said there was somebody in the woods
The
also.
car had left, like,
Right.
he left. It wasn't even, like, I saw him behind the vehicle. It was our neighbor out walking his dog, who was like, he just dumped pee all over the street. So
Right.
the car was gone.
Right.
We didn't call the
But
police.
I mean, the bottom line is religiously, we can't prevent them from having services, we can't prevent them from having people, parishioners come there, but if there's any commercial use that's not part of their permitted use, we can regulate and cease, make sure that doesn't happen. But as far as I know, Carlo was gonna go out there and investigate that further based on what you and I had discussed. So we're still,
It's been a month. I
well,
mean,
no,
it's still
they
happening
didn't
every
meet,
Friday.
I think last Friday they didn't meet, so that's why he didn't go there. I think Friday was Halloween.
Right.
So I think when I discussed with him, he's gonna go there this Friday and speak to the past. And he spoke to him numerous times, and he assured us that there was no commercial activity going on. Obviously, you know, until we
though there
verify
was-
that,
even
until we
though-
verify that, we can't issue a summons,
weren't the
but
websites and the Zelle?
we
and
did go on the,
payments
yeah, we
and
did go on the
everything
website, but
it got
they took
changed.
everything down from the website, so, yeah, I
So
think,
like, that's,
right.
They've changed it, like, you know.
Right.
And again,
Believe me, we understand, and the supervisor and myself and Carlo have had, you know, numerous meetings about this, and also when the Audi dealer was issues that we addressed, and they took care of that, when you had the other issues with the Audi
Yep.
dealer.
Yeah, that was
But
the-
we understand, you know, your neighbors, and he also spoke to Carlo about the pastor you know, he wants to do the right thing also, as the supervisor said, but the bottom line is, we're gonna follow up, and I'll get back to you by the end of the week to let you know what we, you know,
like,
find out.
we've heard about trying to do the right thing for so many times, and
Well-
there's been so many disruptions in the morning, you know, garbage pickup or their dumpster pickup at 6 o'clock on a holiday, or trying to roof the house, they encroach, they trespass on our property, and every time we hear we're trying to do the right thing, and it doesn't seem like that, you know, it seems like it's the same sort of, you know, I don't know, it just seems very hollow, I guess,
I
and
understand,
all
yeah.
of our complaints have been valid, like backed up data, you know, we found like, you know, 100 rusty nails in our driveway when they did all their roofing on our driveway, things like that, right? Like, we're not making up, like.
we have it still. Like, it's no remorse, no apology. It's like,
It's annoying.
Right.
Yeah, it's annoying.
Yes.
We generally can't legislate courtesy, but dumping nails is a different story.
But I
That's,
mean,
that's, you know,
that's a good point,
totally
though, like-
inappropriate. It's a nuisance.
Yeah.
And, you know, wheels of government move slowly, but they move. So,
know.
you know,
But then
eventually we
there's-
catch up.
there's no way to, because it's a residential place and because there's no parking lot, and there's no way to regulate when they can have actual, like, I'm not saying you stop it, but there's no way to regulate, like, after certain hours, There's no activity at the church? There's no way to you can't
Not really,
regulate it
no.
all?
Now, remember, when you guys bought, probably, there was no, there was no activity at the church. Used to be St. Luke's, and they were shut down forever. You know, I mean, my brother went there to kindergarten, you know, when he was like 3. So in about, probably somewhere in the 80s, the thing just dove off, and there's been nothing going on there. Then all of a sudden, they sold the church, and, you know, you have all this activity there. But we can't regulate services and all. But what we can regulate are things that they're not supposed to be doing that are not in conjunction with the church there,
I mean,
or
like,
church-related activities.
So you're depending on etiquette and having respect for the.
Well, hopefully, yeah. Hopefully, the pastor says something to people and straightens this out. You know, if he doesn't, then you know what? Then we're going to have PD there all the time. You know, and that's just, you know, almost a waste of good, valuable manpower. But if that's what it takes, then that's what it takes.
Well, that's one thing I'm gonna ask for, is like more police presence, especially on Sundays.
Well,
Especially with what happened outside our home last Sunday. They're not enforcing the 2-hour parking. There's, the only way that gets enforced, or if people are parking illegally, is if we call it in. That's the only way it gets enforced.
well, I'll talk to the chief about it. Have him do it. You know, there's a deployment. You know, they have a schedule. These guys will go there and they'll just nuke the area.
If it's like an out-of-town number or an out-of-state number plate, does it still stand, or is?
No, it's public street. So if it's there for more than 2 hours, doesn't matter if it's,
So
you know,
Pennsylvania, Michigan, okay.
doesn't matter. If it's there for 2 hours more, it's marked. They come back, he gets a ticket, notwithstanding where the plate is from.
Okay,
What about people
No
camped
plates is
out?
different. You know.
yeah, I know.
What about people camped out in cars in front of your home?
Well, you know, there's an idling law that the county enacted about no idling your vehicle more than, I think, 5 minutes, something like that. But, you know, if the car is running for 2 hours, you know, it's ridiculous. You know, you want to call the pastor and say, hey, you got a car outside of my house.
We can't.
No, we
I mean,
can't.
He wrote us a letter of cease and desist. Or
Cease and desist letter,
Because he
okay, all
thought
right.
we were making false.
I was just
accusations, so-
reporting like facts. He's
Yeah.
had numerous grown men come on our driveway to assess his house, never asking for permission.
On your property.
On our property, and I've asked him to ask for permission. And my 12-year-old went outside one day, and she comes in scared. He was out of town. Mommy, there's a man in our driveway.
What was he doing in the driveway?
He was measuring the siding on the side of the house.
On their house?
Yes.
From your property?
But it's in our property. Like, yeah. I
Doesn't
mean,
make-
so I'm trying to tell you, there's no common courtesy involved in the dealings between both parties, and it's gotten to a point where it's untenable for us.
All right, well,
They broke every rule, I think, in the building department.
as you heard earlier, I'm going to meet with Pastor Kirk, and I'll address these issues with him.
But like, they didn't file even for a permit, like, and they did the amount of construction they did over the weekends, holidays. You know, we were like, we didn't want to be bugging the department.
We didn't know the rules.
Yeah, but they're not exempt from building permits
Well,
and all.
that's, it was.
But they broke the rule. Then when Carlos said shut them down, they were in there the next morning.
Yeah, well,
Like he shut. That's where our view comes from, is like, because they've continuously just not ever thought that they needed to follow the rules.
Yeah.
So like, you could sit there and tell them you can't have ballet classes on Fridays. They're gonna still have ballet classes on Fridays.
well, unless they get caught doing that, and then there's a fine and
But
an
that
injunction.
That's what we're worried, that hasn't been forthcoming.
Well,
you know.
We'll get to it
They
eventually.
couldn't work on weekends. They were there every Saturday, Sunday. Like, we'd have to call the police.
Yeah, that's what you have to do. yeah.
It was
They were
incessant.
parking on their lot. They were just like, the place looked like, you know, Beirut for a while. It was just a.
Well, hopefully things
will
will settle down, but we'll start dealing with Pastor Kirk, and you, Carlo is available, Mr. Rada. You know, the whole staff there will be working for you.
Carlo has not gotten back to me, though, recently about anything that I've reported. Mr. Rader, you have, like, you know, we've communicated.
Yes, of
But
course.
I still do not understand the zoning, and Gary Gibbs did say that they were in compliance.
But just to let you know, I did speak to Carlo. He did receive your email as well as I did, and he came to my office. We discussed it. I filled the supervisor in last week about what you had said, and like I
Because mixed
said,
messages. You told me that Carlo told the church they couldn't have the dance class.
he did, yeah, two or 3 weeks ago when you first
And they're
addressed
still
it.
every Friday.
No.
Like, It's still happening.
No, what happened was he told them, they took it off the website, and then last week you emailed me with pictures saying, no, they're still doing it. This Friday, we were gonna go there, but it was Halloween.
Halloween.
Yeah, so we're gonna go next Friday to see what's going on.
We were concerned because
This Friday, actually.
One Sunday at about like 5 or 6 o'clock, there was this massive function, right? I think it was the same, because like for a while they were like offering, you could rent, I guess, the facility. So one Sunday evening, the street was like it was.
There's a dance recital, so they can't have dance recitals. They can't, like, anything that would be,
They can't have any commercial activity, because that's not part of their
but
permitted
is
use.
a dance recital? Are they allowed to have a dance recital in their church?
It's
I
religious.
think not, yeah. Unless it's post-mass or something, or a
That's what
an
we need
nativity thing
clarification
or
on.
something, I don't know.
Pageants.
I really, like, and maybe I have to go and sit with Carlo. I need clarification because it just seems like breaking, whatever. Like we're just gonna do what we want. I need clarification because it is a disruption to our livelihoods. No one wants like
So you've
all this
three
foot
classes
traffic.
on a Friday evening,
Yeah.
like, so that's 3 conveyors of people in and out.
Yeah, 3 cycles.
Like it's like your Friday evening start of the weekend, and then you're just facing into sort of a weekend of activity.
Constant activity,
Yeah.
yeah.
And everyone sees it on Sunday, right? I guess that's very visible with the amount of traffic and the congestion. But it's like some of the inward facing meetings, I guess, and then like we're just worried that it'll become. Next week it'll be taekwondo or whatever. Following week it'll be Pilates, and nothing against anything like that, but it's just going to bog down our entire street even more, right? It's like,
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
we'll be dealing with it.
Okay.
so
Thank you.
like the essential character of the neighborhood, right? Like something like this, you don't see this as being as impacting, like what was sort of a quiet street,
Well, when you have no activity at a church and then you have a ton of activity, of course, it's impactful. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. But the question is, what is the activity you're being impacted by? Is it something they're permitted to do, or is it something that they're not permitted to do?
Okay.
And I mentioned earlier, they're parking now across the street. They have a traffic crosser there, a guy that helps cross the street. That's a good step in the right direction. They're trying to do the right thing, but making a little bit of something is good, but you got to go all the way with it. You can't be halfway.
checks and balances.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I'll have Carl look into that, and I'll get back to you as soon as he finishes up on Friday.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, no, and what I spoke about, what happened just recently on Saturday, that's the first time that we've ever had like a parishioner, like, so they're usually courteous, and, I mean, we don't interact with them.
Well, remember, there was a problem with the car dealership workers, and then,
Right.
smoking weed and doing the same thing,
But this
and-
was definitely from the church,
And
like,
but-
we
but-
saw,
after a couple of meetings, it got resolved, so, but hopefully that will happen now, sooner than later.
No, you did it. We were very thankful for that.
yes, okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
listening to us. All right.
All right, talk to you soon. Bye now. All right, anyone else? No? Someone care to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.